What's up, everybody? This is the Lake Station Community Advocate here. I got something I want to touch on. A little bit of transparency. Yeah, you know, that transparent thing that, well, many people don't want to do, but probably should be because it's our money and you should probably be paying attention and demanding it. But let me go through this. So I'm sitting here and I figured, what better way than to start this off with, well, a little bit of a quote, because I love quotes and I love Stoics, but this is coming from Andre Gide. So everything that needs to be said has already been said. But since no one was listening, everything must be said again. And that's a pretty important element, because it's like sitting in a classroom where you've said the instructions 5 times. But none of them students are listening. So I'm going to say this stuff again. Transparency. I have been saying this from the get-go. Transparency, accountability, truthful honesty, integrity, and things of that nature is what we should be demanding from our leadership. From our leaders, I should say. You could be a leader and not have leadership qualities. Been there, done that. You could probably go through some of my other videos and see that. But you can be a leader and not have leadership qualities, but to be held accountable because you're there, you probably should be. But I want to start off with, well, you can't fix what you can't see. Kind of like a doctor or somebody who's trying to fix you, but they haven't done any MRIs or CTs. They don't know what's wrong with you, but they're trying to fix you. So let me get through this. So transparency, right? It's mainly local government accounting is what I'm talking about. Because local government accounting, well, it kind of helps us figure out what we can do next and what kind of steps we're taking to better our town, or what kind of steps are putting us in the negative and continually. Now, this is going to be a 2-part on transparency. It's going to be this, and I'm going to be making another one. However, stay with me on this. So local government accounting, okay? First off, it makes our cities, our towns, kind of better for those of us who live in them, who function in them, right? And it kind of reveals our financial impact of the entire town development. The patterns, the spending, the direction of the officials, where'd this go, where'd that go, we didn't approve nothing, the residents will say, and it goes round and round and round. And in local government, which is why I've always said people need to be very involved in council meetings, knowing who your council members are, knowing who your committee members are, precinct committee members, such as myself, and things like that, kind of helps the residents. That's where we can actually learn to shape our city and our towns to fit us and to suit us. And there's a reason that transparency with our leaders and our municipal gurus, why this stuff's kind of important. First off, we need kind of some clear, some accurate, and accessible information. And it's got to be in a way that, well, we can read it and interpret it. And while the towns are usually being very properly funded, the bigger importance of this is that our money is being properly stewarded and spent in proper areas for our community. So that's why transparency is really, really important, because as residents and community members, we can kind of see that our leaders are doing good and doing right and correct with our money and being truthful and showing us, hey, this is where our money's going. This is how we're doing things. Does everybody agree? But let me kind of fold back a little bit to the financial town reports, right? First off, they need to be prepared and easy to read and easy to interpret for all residents. Not some, not a few, not for the group, for all people. And it makes total sense why oftentimes local accounting is usually very complicated, illogical, and pretty much usually confusing for any resident who comes and asks to see any of the books at the city. And again, like I said, the municipal financial statements should be written with us, the local residents, in mind. Not all can read and understand what they're looking at. And so those need to be written in ways that we can interpret it, easily interpreted, and we know and we see where the money is being placed, in what times, and what the residents all agree on. to be spent and properly managed. However, together we can kind of pull the veil back on this and, well, kind of demand some transparency for our town accounting and our municipal financial reports. And this is super important because this is what helps us get better things and do better things. I'm the Lake Station Community Advocate. I'm just trying to advocate and help educate people in a little bit areas that maybe, well, we might need to know as residents, and we should be knowing. And remember, hold your leaders accountable, transparent, as I was just speaking about. Get some truth and some honesty out of them, because it's really important for our communities to grow and to thrive. And if they're hiding and if they're miscommunicating funds and information and misinterpreting, well, that's not by accident. Sometimes it is. However, let's hold them accountable. Get a little curious about what's going on in your community with the funding, what's going on with our planning, how these things are happening, and the way that we can all pull together and we can actually change things in our town instead of just all these businesses popping up. Stay with me for part 2 of transparency and some things that we go through in that. So stay with me.